Hello, guys. Good morning. Listen, welcome to your market report. Now, I'll tell you, today is Monday, June 25th, 2018, and it's almost July. Doesn't feel like it. The weather's pretty cold. Anyway, let's get right to it, and let's open the charts right here. And the first thing we're going to look at is the cryptocurrency. Now, do you remember me saying about a week or two ago in my show, I said that Bitcoin is struggling to stay up in the 6,000s? Everybody else was saying it's going up higher right away, get on the bandwagon right away. And I said, oh, I'm so sure. I think she's going to go down and have trouble staying up in the 6,000s. Well, it still is right now. It's struggling to stay in the 6,000s still. Right now, it's struggling even harder to stay in the 6,000s right now. Now, this is the 12-month hour chart on Bitstamp, and we're going to move into a closer up look. Let's try the 15-minute right here. And what we see here is the price is 61.31. It did dip down to 57.80. This is part of the bottoming process of Bitcoin. It's making bottoms. And so this, I didn't really count this as a real bottom right here, this 57.80. Some people might say, well, that was a bottom. No, I don't think that's a bottom. I think that we're probably going to test that, and we're probably going to go lower as a second bottom coming right up. So if we go back to the 30-minute here, no, we're going to have to go back further. We're going to have to go back to the 12-hour again. Now, you see right here, now there's a nice classic bottom right there. Right down spike and then up. You get an up. A nice little up. A strong movement upwards. We're not seeing any strong movements upwards yet. And we're not seeing a spike, a long red candle either. And so that's not a real bottom. We're heading toward a real bottom now. And what I'm expecting is to see this real bottom. We're going to see a big red candle downwards and then a spike upwards. So we could see that big red candle downwards make a move down as low as 5,000 or into the 4,000s even. And then a spike upwards in price. And so that spike upwards in price will probably take us up. Oh, I'm just guesstimating it here. It might take us up to 7,500 bucks. Again, that sharp spike upwards. So we see a sharp move, and I think we're getting almost down, ready to make the big red candles downwards. If you can hit it, then you'd buy in probably at I don't know, they're going to go down pretty low. If we see a long red candle here, we could see it down to $5,000 or even lower than that, and then a spike upwards again. But then that'll be the second bottom. If it does that, that would be your second bottom, right? And then it's going to do this process all over again for a third bottom, which is probably going to take it down, I don't know, could take it down as low as 3,000 maybe or something, you know? So these are moves downwards. Anyway, that's what I see it doing, is making these bottoms. Now, I was over to a channel called Bitcoin Ben this morning, and he did a show. And he just released a new show from his truck. He did the show, and it was excellent show. Excellent. I suggest if you're into cryptocurrency to go over and watch that show. He made an analogy between this is Bitcoin Ben right here. He made an analogy between the 1929 Wall Street and the innovation of the stock market, and how the stock market was building into its own, and how it went through a crash, to what's happening right now in cryptocurrency. And I'll tell you, I think the guy hit the nail right on the head. Honest to Pete, really good show. I really watched it and the whole thing just before I come on here, and I thought he did an excellent job on it. And I love his analogy. I think he's spot on with that. And I think cryptocurrency ultimately is going to be the big thing. And I mean big thing. I mean big thing as in the money of the world. I think they're going to try to fight it with their own cryptocurrencies, and they're going to be somewhat successful at first. But I think the decentralized cryptocurrencies are ultimately going to win, and I think Bitcoin is going to be able to scale. I've heard talk of them getting it up to 1 million transactions per second, and I've heard that in rumors through the grapevine that they're going to be able to scale it up to 1 million transactions per second. We know Visa, I think, is only running at 40,000 transactions a second. Right now, Bitcoin's running at 7 transactions a second, and it's doing rather well, thank you very much, for 7 transactions a second. But that's why there's a little bit of a bottleneck, and that's why you have to pay more to transmit your Bitcoin over the network. Is because of that bottleneck. But that bottleneck's going to be taken away in the end, ultimately, and it'll be able to scale, and so will all the other cryptocurrencies, and they are going to become the new money for the world, because nobody's going to trust the old money that we have now. It's flawed. It's flawed in the fact that criminals and crooks can make as much as they want and steal as much as they want. And you can't do that with cryptocurrency. That ability to steal and that ability to create money off the cuff, just say, okay, we're going to create so many more new units of money, is taken away from them and given to the computer, and the computer says, no, 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 no. There's a set limit to Bitcoins, the computer says, and you cannot bargain with the computer. You cannot cheat the computer. It makes it fair for everyone. And this is why it's going to win ultimately in the end, because good money pushes out bad money. It's as simple as that, guys. Okay, listen. Let's move on here, and let's take a look at the cryptocurrency market capitalizations, ultimately. We're looking at Bitcoin dominance is way up today, 41.7%. Wow, that's something. $251 billion market capital. So we're seeing a little bit of a move back toward Bitcoin dominance here. All the coins are up. EOS is really up a lot. Now, remember a couple days ago I was telling you about EOS. It was down, I think it was 18% or something like that. I said, hey, that's looking good to buy. Well, she's up 8.85%. So anybody who bought in made 8% on their money, just like that. I mean, these are the days of the Wild West in cryptocurrency. You can make a lot of money off of this stuff. And I'm going to tell you, the real money's going to be made in just what Bitcoin Ben said. HODL, which means hold on for dear life. You buy and you hold on for dear life. If a fella has to do is spend the money that you spend on something foolish like lottery tickets, instead of buying lottery tickets, and trust me on this, you never win the frickin' lottery. They've got it rigged. You know, it's not actually rigged, but your odds of winning it, you're more likely to get struck by lightning in the head and killed than to win the lottery, for crying out loud. And I mean, you're not scared when there's a summer storm, you know, to run out to your car. You go and run out to your car, even though there's lightning all around you. Well, you should feel the same way when you buy a stupid lottery ticket. Your chances of winning are nil. You're more likely to get hit with the lightning. Anyway, here it is. Cryptocurrency market capitalizations. We got some good coins in here. Good solid buys. I always love Litecoin and Bitcoin. I like Bitcoin. I like Bitcoin Cash. I'm getting so I like EOS more and more and more. I want more EOS, I'll tell you, honestly. Now, I'm going to tell you what I'm looking for. I'm looking to buy on the dips. I don't think your opportunities to buy are gone yet. I think we're just exactly what he's hitting. The Bitcoin Ben is hitting it right on the head when he said about probably 8 more months you're going to have opportunities to buy, you know, and this is what my way of thinking too. Probably for the next few months while she's in the bottoming process, going to have opportunities to buy. The next big run up with Bitcoin over the next few years is going to be the most massive thing you've ever seen in your life, you know, and if you've got some, you're going to be happy, and if you don't have any, well, you're going to have missed out at that point when the big run-up occurs, because you're not, the average guy like us is not going to be able to afford to buy into any of this stuff anymore after the next big run-up occurs. It's going to be massive. Now, another good place to put your money is in something else that nobody wants right now. So we're going to move over and take a look at the silver price. Oh my God, this thing has been hurt, damaged, and that's the time to buy when something's damaged, when something's really hurt and nobody wants it. This is the time to buy in, and this stuff right here has very little downside risk, whereas the cryptocurrencies right now have massive downside risk. Massive downside potential for cryptocurrency right now. I mean, Bitcoin could go as low as $2,000. And I would tell you what, if it goes down to $2,000, buy in with both hands, guys, of Bitcoin, if it goes down that low. But it could go down that low, and believe me, I'm going to be buying as much as I can if it goes down that low. So here is something that's already down, really down, big time. And look at silver this morning, 16.29. Oh my goodness, this is great. This is not going to last forever. Believe me, silver is probably one of the most undervalued assets ever out there. I don't ordinarily take a look at the gold live chart, but we're going to take a look at gold live chart right now, this morning, and gold right now is at 1267. Oh my goodness, is it ever hurting? That has been damaged so bad. 1267. It should not be that price. It should right now be at least $1,400. That'd be minimum. That's low. It actually should be up over 2,000. It should be like 2,600 or 2,700, for crying out loud. It's just absolutely ridiculous what's going on. So now let's take a look at the Dow Jones this morning. The stupid old Dow Jones. It's down 255 points on the morning. It's still riding in this range. I don't expect it to go below 23,000. In fact, I'm expecting a little bounce in the Dow Jones. The reason why I'm expecting it to go back up is very simple, is because bonds right now, bond yields are falling. Okay, so we better head over and take a look at the bond yield chart right now. And we see all the yields across the board are falling today. Well, why they're falling, I'm not exactly sure, but I'm going to tell you what, early next month, we're going up again. Because the Fed's going to, unless the Fed decides, hey, you know what, boys, we're done with quantitative tightening. And I don't think there's a snowball's chance in hell of them coming out and saying we're done with quantitative tightening. So I think they're going to increase the quantitative tightening. So I think what we're going to see is we're going to see these bond yields start to go up again come next month. But not until next month, because there's an awful lot of buyers coming into the bond market right now. We got to discourage these buyers. And how we're going to discourage these buyers is by rising yields up way higher than they ever expected. That's going to bring in a few more buyers, but the buyers that already have spent a wad of money, and I mean they've spent a wad of money on this stuff, are going to say, hey, you know what? I got burned. You know? Do I want to get burned again? And they're going to start to think to themselves, hey, you know what? They're going to start to see what I've been saying all along, that the Fed's not going to stop pouring these bonds into the market. And they're going to start to say, hey, this is going higher yet. I'm going to hang off just a little bit longer and try to buy these bonds when they're a little bit higher yields. And by holding off, that's going to send yields even higher. So that's what's the mentality that's going to start to happen to these bond buyers. Greed has been influencing this bond market up until now, and they've been biting. The sharks have been biting, and they've been just tearing these yields down. Look at this yield on the U.S. 10-year, 2.87. I mean, there's a lot of buyers been in there to drive it down to that from 3.1. But the whole big bunch of new bonds is going to be coming out for sale, you know, and on these bond markets, auctions and stuff, and this is going to really pour into the market. They got $4.5 trillion. 4.5, that's $4,500 billion worth of them to sell. So if you haven't got one yet, there's a lot more coming. Okay, so let's take a look at the U.S. dollar index this morning. 94.40. That is pretty much the range it's been in over the last little while. It was up to 95 just for a little while, touched 95, whatever, just for a little while. I haven't checked Deutsche Bank this morning. Believe me, I'll check it real soon. I'll probably be doing a show about Deutsche Bank in the next couple of days. But listen, thank you guys for listening to the market report this morning, and you guys have a nice week as the week progresses. Bye bye for now.